Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Siemens and I'm from IGS Electronics. Today we're going to be continuing on our journey with S300 series PLC, not S300, but S7-300 series PLC. And today's card is Simatic Net. So the particular card that I have, it's a Vani X30, which is, I think that's the latest. That's the latest in that CP343 family. And so it comes with the 2 ports, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be setting the card up, configuring, and also going to be doing a firmware update for the card as well. So, and next video we're going to be checking out the web server for this card, which is really cool for diagnostics purposes. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. So without further ado, let's get started. Before we get crack on with this within the TR port, so let's quickly have a look at what the card is all about. This card itself is going to require its own 24 volt DC supply, and it's got 2 ports right in here. Both of them work pretty much independently, can work independently, and can be turned on and off as well within the TR portal. When it comes down to the one thing you definitely do, this is your MAC address in here, which you're going to be able to read out once you start at the very beginning of the startup. And this is your version. As you can see, my version in here says a V2.0. That V2.0 is no longer there because I have updated this already to a 3.0, and we're going to be doing one more update in a minute to the latest version, because you have to do 2.4, then you do the 3, and then you're able to do the 3.13 or something like that. So and then you have a light in here. Well, SF is a general group errors and things like that, so they will pop up with the general groups itself. So BF is going to be your bus, what they call those bus faults and internet interfaces. These guys in here, if there's going to be any problems with the end or setups as well. And also you have RXTX, which shows you when it's communicating, and run, stop, self-explanatory, and pretty much P1 and P2 is, as you can see, and P1 is flashing because that's where my Ethernet is being plugged in. It's pretty much showing you which one is working, which one is not. And pretty much that's all there is. This is our part number in here. This is what we're going to be needing now to have a look at it. So it's pretty cool card, because at the moment I am straight away, as soon as I plug it in, and provided I have done my configuration correct, I should be able to already send in the IP address. So I'm going to show in a minute how to start up with your IP address, and already start being accessing the CPU and do all the stuff you would normally do with the MPI interface. You'll be doing with Profinet interface. So it's pretty much is a full access. So having said that, so let's jump on that TR portal and have a look inside there. So here we are. So as you can see, I already have done my hardware configuration. So the first thing what we need to do, we need to make sure that we have the right IP address that we want to work with. And to start, remember, we need to check to make sure that we understand what firmware version it is. We go into accessible nodes right here on the top, and click a search and find out what IP address is, and we're going to see, as you can see, the IP address at the moment is 172.246.9.221. We're going to be changing that because this is what I was doing on my work. So I was working on some of the networking down there. I'm no longer going to need that, so we're going to be changing that in a minute. So click on show. When you click on show, it will appear right here at the bottom under the pretty much in online accesses. So in here, just gotta go double click on your diagnostics, and in here you'll be able to find out what current firmware version is within your CP343 unit. So as you can see, my one is a 3.023. So when you do your hardware configuration right in here, so double click on it. So, and right here on the bottom, now it's going to tell you what you have selected when you did your hardware configuration, and if by any chance your firmware version is not right, just click change the version. I'll pretty much show you in a minute how many versions are out there. As you can see, there's an options in here. As you can see, my one at the beginning was a 2, and I'm gonna admit I have made the mistake. My one was at 2, but I have actually selected 3, and all my ports was just locking out all the time. They were not working properly, and I was having all sorts of problems until I figured out that I completely forget to make sure the firmware version is correct. So don't forget it. So and yeah, once you want to update it, you can just click OK and it will update it. So at the moment we are on firmware version 3.0, which is correct. So we are good in here. So the next, if you go into the again an online access and online and diagnostics, right in here you can do firmware update, which you're going to do in a minute. You can do your factory resets and everything that you want to do, and also you can assign IP. When you assign IP in here, it's good only for very beginning. I usually do this at very beginning and don't do it again, because it is advisable to change your IP address within configuration itself, which is right here. So if you click on general, where do we? So we clicked the wrong one. So if we are in here, then where's our internet address is down here. So this is pretty much Ethernet address down here. So edit your address in here. So that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to do in here this is my, because we're going to be working, this is preparations for the next video as well. 168, because we're going to be setting this up so we are able to connect. This is what this card is really brilliant about. Once it's really fully set up and integrated within your network, obviously you do need to make sure there's all the protections and things like that is in there as well. So which you can is right, where is this? Somewhere in here, I can't remember somewhere, but you do need to, you can put passwords onto your program so nothing can be changed. So let's give him the subnet 2, let's give him an address 1 no one's using, to make sure that your addresses is not conflicting with anything else. So if it does, you will have a BF error coming up, and also SF error will come up as well, saying that it's conflicting, and you will have a bit of a trouble. So it's good to know what IPs are used. So and I need that one. So once I did that, you pretty much is good to go. So what we're going to do in here, we're going to click in here. So we are going to load that new IP address into our card itself. Again, everything's already selected for me in here, and let's search, and we're going to show all compatible devices, and there's an IP address down here. So and what it's going to do now is literally going to override the existing IP to a new one. So doing his business. So again, my MPI controller is not even connected, so I'm literally communicating with my CPU directly. So let's load that in. As you can see, I haven't done any protection, guys. You do need to select your protections and things like that. So make sure no one, because the one thing comes with this Ethernet unit, that once it's connected to your network, pretty much your protections is not there. Anybody can have an access to it, whoever's got the software or within online. So let's finish loading that one. So once we've done that one, if you see now, when we go into the accessible nodes, and now we search, it is 192.168.2.1. If you would have changed it in there what I did at the very beginning, and you forgot to change it in configuration, it will automatically override whatever you did at the very beginning. So in here, guys, do check out this because this card now effectively is ready to go. It's all ready to set up, and in here you can start setting up all the small details. Again, all of this is very much dependent on your setups and module access protection level. So status independent, I don't even know what that is, but we're not going to check that one. Oh, it's doing, you don't want that one. So the one in here what you can do is okay, there's so many different things you can do with it. So interface options, guys, do check it out yourselves. I want to show you something. Where was it? I completely forgot. Where is it? But IP access protection, here you can select the addresses who's able to connect with what kind of IPs and all sorts of things like that. So that's that kind of thing with more or less for the more of a static IPs. So yeah, so all this I'll let you guys check out. The next thing we're going to do is when we go on the web server, which you're going to be checking out in the next video, There's a couple options. Activate web server in this module. Web server is really good if you want to connect to the actual CPU and have a look at the diagnostics and all other business you want to do. I can show in the next video. You can even do it from your tablet or your phone. We'll check that out in the next video. Then you can actually download firmware with your web server. I'm not going to select this now. Actually, I will. Actually, we will select that. So because we'll check that out in the next video as well. Come on. Here we go. And then automatic. We're not going to do that either. So so yeah. Once we've done that, we actually because I did that, I'm going to load that in now again. Come on. Again, it's giving me warning saying that in my mind you haven't set up any protections. I know, not for this video. It's full time for individual how they set up the protections, how to protect their CPUs. So this is just a demonstration of what the card itself is. And when you want to set this card up, so I literally what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug my Ethernet in, so my internet in, and I will unplug my cable from the actually I can't do it because I can't reach to connect it to the network, so we're not going to do that now. We're going to do that in the next video. So because I would need now to connect my the actual card itself, I need to connect it to the actual network, which at the moment my network is a little bit too far. So next up, let's do the firmware update, because that's the one thing I want to do. And for that, we need to go into the Google. Once that is done, so let me just see, make sure we are still recording. We are. Was that done? So we're gonna do it. It's gonna be a CP. What is it called? CP343. It's always good to update your cards, guys, because there's a lot of things they add and sometimes they remove. But it's always good to update them so to the latest whatever they've done. So once you find your product, which this is my product, which is exactly, it's quite easy to find. This basically will take you to the Siemens Mall. In the Siemens Mall, we are going to go for downloads. For whatever reason, we have we got wireless. That is actually, I still can't connect. We'll check that out in the next video. I'm literally now can unplug my CPU because I am part of the network. I should be able to connect even wirelessly and do all my stuff that I need. So let's go to all and downloads. And remember what I said at the beginning. You need the steps you need to undertake to read up to be able to update your Simatic net. If it's from 2, so it's going to be 2, 2.4, 3, and then it's going to be the last one, which is this guy right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click the downloads in there. I think, do I have it? Do I have it? Do I already have it? Yes, I do already have it, because I was going to put a pause in it because I have to do all this, so the acceptance is this just for me and blah blah. So basically you download it in here, so it's pretty much right in here. So if you download firmware for lean, click in here. So we are a standard, which is, yes, so we are standard. So already downloaded. So go through this process, download this file, and you're going to get this file right in here, which is a CP3 blah blah blah. We're going to get this as a zip file. So in this folder, what I'm going to do, I am going to remove this one. This is the last update I did. So by the way, you can do this via the web server. So we're gonna check that out in the next video. So we're gonna drag these two files right in here. I'm trying to do as fast as you can. Hopefully you guys are keeping up if you're doing the same thing. So then we're gonna go into the access points again. So access nodes, we have to go and connect to it. Actually, can we do it? Right down here. I'm not sure actually, because I've already done it. Local modules, CP. Let's right click on it, then go into the diagnostics, blah blah. So there you go. We can do it through here. So then we go to firmware update. Start firmware update. Make sure you are offline. So it doesn't like you being online. So let's browse and find the file that we are looking for. That's the one. we click that one here, then we click next. Is that our yeah, that's our what's his name, the MAC address. So and then we need to select how we are talking to my good old friend in here, and we are talking to this guy in here, which is my family controller. And then we go into download. If all goes well, what it's going to do is create the hardware version. If all goes well, it's going to go straight in the loading segment. And from there on, let me pause in here. I'll let him do all of his business. It could take about 4 to 5 minutes. So he's going to do the full update now. Here we are. So once that's done, you're going to see a message like that. If all went well, you're going to see download complete successful. And it tells you turn the power supply of the S7-300 off on. So off and on. So basically reset the system. So let's cancel that one out. So as you can see, let me just drag you on the screen in here. So you can see the system is flashing down there. It's pretty much requesting a restart. So shut it down. There you go. Put it back on. As it does that. So we quickly want to check. There's one thing I didn't check. Do I need to change the configuration in my device as well? So let's double click on that. Let's go into a general. Let's go down. I don't think you do, because I don't think there was any more. So change the current version 3. Now we good. You don't have to change anything. So past 3, that's it. I think that's the last one on the 3. So yeah, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we updated the firmware version. So pretty much the system is all healthy, ready to rock and roll. So let's go online. Make sure everything is singing and dancing. If everything works well, everything should be in green. So come on, do your thing. It's taking his time. Come on. And there we go. So everything should be, if you look at the Profinet, both of the ports is good, reachable, all singing and dancing. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So that'll do for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe if you're new to the channel and if you like what we're doing here. In the next video, we're going to be continue one more video on this card. We're going to be checking out the web server and why this card is really good, because once you, as I said, once you are in a network, you can access the CPU pretty much from anywhere you are within that network. So if you are in a workshop, if you're in a workshop and your laptop is connected and you know the IP address, you can connect the CPU and look and do whatever you want. So that's for the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.